Welcome to the Mystic Access Podcast, where the magic is in learning.
This episode of the Mystic Access Podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. For a free book of your choice, go to audibletrial.com/mysticaccess. Episode 65, Speaking Clock, Tell Me the Time.
It's 1:45.
In this podcast, I will demonstrate a talking clock application for Android called Speaking Clock, Tell Me the Time. This speaking clock has some unique features. One of them is the ability to wave your hand in front of the proximity sensor in order to have the talking clock announce the time. And I will do that now.
It's 1:45.
And I waved 3 fingers in front of the proximity sensor and the time was announced. Now I don't have to press the power button to have TalkBack read me the time. I can just wave my hand across the proximity sensor and the phone will announce the time. For this demonstration, I will be using a Samsung Galaxy Note 2 running Jelly Bean 4.12, TalkBack as the screen reader, and Acapella as the TTS.
11:46 a.m.
So I'm going to unlock the phone, and that's TalkBack announcing the time.
Verizon Wireless. Device unlocked. Home.
So now let me go into the application.
Home screen. Talking dialer. Tell me the time.
Double tap.
Tell me the time.
And now we're in the app.
Disabled. Tell me the time. Saturday, November 2. 11:47.
And I just swipe through the app screen, and I can double tap the app screen.
It's 13 minutes to noon.
It's 13 minutes to noon. Now, if I go to the menu, and we can see what we have.
Showing 5 items. Start night clock. Stop speaking clock.
This is how you would stop the speaking clock. So let's double tap that.
Tell me the time.
Now I have just turned off the auto announcement of the speaking clock. And let's go back into the menu.
Showing 5 items. Start night clock. Start speaking clock.
Double tap.
Alert, select an interval.
Now I can select an interval, and let's see what the intervals are.
Select an interval. Every minute. Every even minute. Every odd minute.
That was every even minute and every odd minute.
Every 5 minutes. Every 10 minutes. Every 15 minutes. Every 20 minutes. Every 30 minutes. Every hour.
And I'm going to go back to every 30 minutes.
Every 30 minutes.
Double tap.
Tell me the time.
Now I have just set the talking clock to announce the time every 30 minutes. Let's go back into the menu.
Showing 5 items. Start, stop, speak, preferences.
There's preferences.
Info.
And there's info. Let's double tap info and see what we have.
Alert, tell me the time. Version 1.13.0. Date, the 5th of October 2013. Author, Andreas Meyer. Disclaimer, the author Andreas Meyer disclaims all warranties with regard to this software. In no event shall the author be liable for any damages whatsoever arising from the use of, or inability to use, this software. Participate in translations. If you want to participate and translate this application to another language or help to improve the existing translations, please contact me via email. Changelog v1.13.0 feature added a complete translation of the app in Portuguese. Bug, tell me the time. Feature, device, bug fix. v1.1 feature, the gradient of the color of the
Let's go
background
back.
cannot be tell me the time.
Now we're back in the main application. I am going to go to the menu again.
Showing 5 items. Start night, stop speaking, preferences.
and we'll go into preferences. But before we go into preferences, I just wanted to take a minute to thank Audible for sponsoring this episode of the Mystic Access podcast. If you go to audibletrial.com/mysticaccess, you can browse a wide selection of audiobooks, and there are over 100,000 titles to choose from. The books are recorded by professional narrators, sometimes including music and sound effects. You can get fiction, nonfiction, classics, bestsellers, poetry. If you do not have an Audible account, you can go to www.audibletrial.com/mysticaccess. That will allow you to sign up for a free month, and you can download a book of your choice. You can play books from Audible on multiple devices, such as Android devices, iPhone, iPad, and even devices such as the BookSense, Plex Talk, and HumanWare's Victor Stream. For the free trial, you can download a book of your choice. If you cancel, the book is yours to keep forever. Let's go back to the preferences of the Speaking Clock Tell Me the Time app.
11:53 a.m. Device unlocked. Tell me the time.
Now I'm going to go into the menu.
Showing 5 items. Stop speak. Preferences.
We'll go into preferences,
Tell me the time. Preferences.
and let's see what we have in here.
Disabled. Preferences. Control. Settings of the several triggers of the time announcement and start options of the night clock. Display. Settings of the display of the clock display. Audio. Settings of the audio output of a time announcement. System settings.
Let's go back up to control.
Audio control preference control set control
Double tapped.
disabled control headset settings about the speaking clock which is triggered by the headset button. Proximity sensor settings about the speaking clock which is triggered by the proximity sensor of the mobile device.
And this is the feature that I was talking about earlier, where you could wave your hand over the proximity sensor and have the clock announce the time. So I'm going to double tap.
Proximity sensor disabled. Proximity sensor. Enable gesture detection. The speaking clock is triggered by a gesture with the hand over the proximity sensor of the mobile device. On some mobile devices this could drain the battery more quickly. Checkbox checked. Gesture 3-finger gesture.
If you double tap that, you will be able to change the gesture from a 1-finger gesture to a 2-finger gesture to a 3-finger gesture.
Vibrate. The mobile device vibrates when triggering the proximity sensor. Checkbox not checked.
You can have the mobile device vibrate when the proximity sensor is activated, and I have that unchecked.
Screen off. The speaking clock is only triggered by the proximity sensor when the screen of the mobile device is turned off. Checkbox checked.
Now I have that turned on because when the screen is on and you're using TalkBack, there is a TalkBack setting that is used to mute TalkBack by waving your hand over the proximity sensor. And in doing that, it causes this feature to not work because TalkBack seems to mute the speech that the speaking clock would say. So I never really got that to work properly. So I just have that turned off.
Speed of recognition. In 750 ms the gesture must be performed.
And I'm going to go back with the back button.
Control disabled. Control
There's control.
headset settings about the speaking clock which is triggered by the headset button. Proximity sense night clock settings about the automatic start options of the night clock mode.
I'm not
The
exactly...
night clock can then be triggered by a single swipe over the proximity sensor.
I'm not exactly sure what the night clock feature is. I believe that if you swipe your finger across the proximity sensor, the night clock will come into foreground and you would be able to see the clock.
Interval speaking clock Settings about an interval-controlled time announcement.
Let's go
The
into
time
here.
can be announced in a defined time interval. Interval speaking clock. Disabled. Interval speaking clock. Notification. A notification is shown in the title bar when the interval speaking clock is started. Checkbox. Checked.
And then we'll hit back.
Control. Power button. Interval speaking clock. Power button. Settings about the speaking clock, which is triggered by the power button of the mobile device.
When you double tap the power button, you can have it announce the time. Again, I wasn't able to get this to work. It might be because I don't have a passcode on my phone. When I hit my power button, TalkBack announced the time anyway, so I have this feature shut off as well.
Touch screen. The speaking clock is triggered by touching the main screen of this app. Checkbox. Checked.
I demonstrated that a little bit earlier where you just double tap anywhere within this application and it announces the time.
Open application.
Let's go back.
Preferences. Disable preferences. Control this audio system. Audio. Settings of the audio output of a time announcement.
Let's check out the audio options.
Audio. Disable audio. General. Language. English, United States.
You can select the language that you want, and if the TTS supports it, it will announce the time in that language.
System independent volume. The volume of a time announcement is independent of the system volume. Checkbox. Not checked.
And I have that disabled because I don't want the volume to change.
Volume. 50% disabled.
And again, it's disabled.
Ringer mode. Silent. Ringer mode for which it is allowed to announce the time.
And I'm going to continue down.
Time format. Speaking clock style. Common. It's 2 minutes to noon.
There are two ways that the time can be announced, common and formal, and I'm going to double tap to select an option.
Alert speaking clock formal. Not checked.
Formal
Common. Checked.
and common,
Cancel button.
and I'm going to cancel. Formal is 10 o'clock.
It's noon.
Common is 15 minutes to noon, or 5 minutes to 1, or 3 minutes after 1. And I have it set to common because I like that.
Common. Check. Cancel button.
And I'm going to cancel.
Audio. Audio. Lang. Sit volume. Ring on time for speaking. Hour format. 1 p.m. Disabled.
Our format is AM or PM, and it is disabled because I have common selected and not formal.
Time of day. It's 2 minutes to noon. Checkbox. Checked.
Time of day. This is a unique feature that I really do like. And instead of it saying it's 2 p.m. or it's 10 a.m., it'll say it's 2 in the afternoon, or it's 10 in the morning, or 6 in the evening, or 10:30 at night. So I kind of like that. It's just something that is unique to this speaking clock application. Press the back button,
Preferences.
and then I'm going to go down and see what else we have.
Disable. Display. Audio. Setting. System. System settings.
Let's go into system settings.
System. Disabled. System. Auto run. This application is automatically started during system startup. Checkbox. Checked.
Obviously, I have that turned on so that the clock starts when I power up the phone.
TTS check. The application checks on the next start if the text-to-speech component is completely installed. Checkbox. Not checked.
And that's all we have in the system menu. So we'll go back.
Preferences. System. Audio. Set display. Settings of the display of the clock display.
And I skipped the display setting, but let's go in and see what's in the display setting.
Display. Disabled. Display. Text. Color of the clock text. Shadow, the text of the clock is displayed with shadow. Checkbox, color gradient, defines the color gradient of the background.
Whoops, I touched my phone. Let's go back up near the top of the screen.
Time text style. Shadow, the text of the clock is displayed with shadow. Check time text style. The time is displayed in bold. Time of day text style. The time of day is displayed in normal text style. Date text style. The date is displayed in normal text style.
So as you can see, you can do a lot with the display settings as well as the audio settings.
Background. Color of the clock background. Color gradient, defines the color gradient of the background. General. Screen orientation, the system settings are used for the orientation of the app screen. Disabled.
And that is a tour of the display settings, so I'm going to hit the back button.
Preferences.
The back button again.
Tell me the time.
Back again.
Home.
And now we're at my home screen. So I'm going to turn off the screen.
Screen off.
And then wave my hand across the sensor.
It's 4 minutes past noon.
And it says it's 4 minutes past noon. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this demonstration of Speaking Clock, Tell Me the Time. I will have a link to this app in the show notes that will direct you to the Google Play Store. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, my contact information follows. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
The preceding program was a presentation of Mystic Access, where the magic is in learning. To contact, please visit www.mysticaccess.com or call 1-888-678-1433. You may also email chris@mysticaccess.com or follow on Twitter at www.twitter.com/mysticaccess. Also, visit our podcast site at www.mysticaccesspodcast.com. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the program.